I do got to get get a thumbnail put up here too. I know we have some people in chat already. We have Dent, Jim F. What's up? Good evening. Thom T is in the building. Thom, if your connection's all right, you should come and join us. We're going to talk a little old school vintage and old school tonight. You'd be a good guy, a good candidate for that, as you just found that Michael Jordan crazy starting lineup. What is that, his rookie year that you found in some box going through stuff? That thing has got to be worth money. The thing is like mint, too. What's up, Balls? What's going on, brother? Let me get this just shared out, updated, whatever, because you know how they don't love to give us notifications that we're on or in here. So, a couple things real quick. Mute that. Share the video. Tweet. Boom. Back. Close. Edit. Bear with us for 1 second, guys. We get a few things taken care of here. Boy, it's been a while since I've had to use this thumbnail. We haven't done one of these in a while.
I don't get it. It's fun.
I know. Well, it's just with Super Bowl, there were other days. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I wasn't even feeling it like at first for tonight, but I was like, dude, we got to do it. We told them we're going to do it. So.
Well, you're busy, man. You got a lot of stuff going on, so you're doing something every day.
I know. I'm always on the run. I need to find some time to take a break. That's why I was like, Sundays, when I've had these Sundays, it's almost been like nice to not be streaming or doing anything and just lay around and do nothing if I can. All right, guys, good evening. We are back with another Def Hobby Central. I got my main man, Justin Quados Corner with me tonight. Huddle Cards was going to join us too, but I got the dates mixed up. If anybody else wants to join us I did put the invite link earlier up in the chat before we went live. You can use that link. I'll cue you in. Yep, Thom T is coming in. He's going to join us. That's awesome. All right. Let me see. Let me get a different view here. That'll work good like that. Tommy T,
Tom.
if you flip if you flip your phone sideways, is it going to mess up your connection? There we go. All right. Good deal.
Back a little bit.
Good deal. So let's just start off and let's see how everybody's doing. Quados, how you doing tonight, my brother?
Doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I can't complain. Well, I guess I probably could complain, but you wouldn't want to hear it. I had a bad afternoon at the casino. I shouldn't even went today, but I had to burn another 150 free play, and they got me. So they got me this time. I had a good weekend overall, but they got me today. I didn't play it all back, but I just kind of wish I didn't. I just wish I wouldn't have gone and stayed put. So
it's all in the overall.
Oh, I know exactly.
You can have a bad shoe, but you can have a great night.
Yep, and you can't win them all. And I'm telling you what, man, I had hit on got some great 20s with dealers showing like 2s or 9s, and I don't know how many times today I saw me having 20 and the dealer pulling a 21 by hitting cards. It was it always take me back to that Vegas vacation. You have 20. Dealer has 21. Getting your ass kicked. So.
And the part that really sucks is when they use about 5 or 7 or 8 cards to do it.
Oh, I know. That'll kill you. That'll absolutely.
That's what irks me.
Yep. Hey guys, everybody in the chat also, while we're still introducing or saying what's up with Quados, check out his new hairdo. He's got the mohawk rocking. You guys, he had mentioned about doing that, I don't know, like last week sometime or something. I saw it in one of the streams. We're like, yeah, dude, you should do one of those. Like somebody else had a photo or picture. I don't remember what it was or where it came up, but
we were at the card show.
That's what it was.
Nick had one. I said, bro, yes. That looks good on you. I might try that.
Yes, that's what it was. Thom, Mr. Thom T, how are we doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Appreciate you.
I'm sorry to hear you didn't do so well at the casino. You talk about that movie. My scene from that movie, I've quoted that before.
Yep.
On your thing about just give me half the money you were going to bet. I'll take you outside and kick you in the balls and we'll call it a night.
Right. Oh, I love it. Everybody in the chat, welcome. We are back. It's been a while since we've done this show, but we are going to try to be consistent with it. We are going to continue to try to rock it every Sunday, but I absolutely need your guys' help to make it happen. I do not want to be the star of this show. Just because it's on my channel, this is not my thing. This is for you guys to get on here, for you guys to do more of the talking, and you guys' knowledge, your guys' opinions, your guys' whatever, and let people get to know you guys a little bit better. So
it works, Tom.
We did we did mention that or we talked about vintage. Let's kind of just start out. I mean, I think we all know, the current product has been on the rise, but what's kind of crazy, and I'm going to let Quados first touch on this, but the old stuff, the vintage, man, what's going on with it? Quados, cue us in.
I was actually this boom never bothered me. Everything I collect was just still sitting there idle. Nobody, everybody's Luca has nothing to do with the 55 tops,
right.
And there's no shiny cards back then that you want to collect. So I was digging it. I'm like, all right, everybody, maybe everybody will go that way and stay away from my stuff.
Right.
Well, I'll tell you what. 2 weeks ago, I found some screaming deals. I've been hammering the Mickey Mantles lately. 2 weeks ago, I found some great deals. Last week, this is crazy, and I've been texting Schmo about it. You and I have talked about it.
Right.
Last weekend, I'll be up late, like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and sniping these auctions that are ending at crazy hours. And I literally, with the holiday on Monday, just from the time that it got shipped to me, and I haven't even gotten some of them yet. They've doubled and almost tripled in price just in the 5 days that I've been waiting to even receive it. So you could find here's a great example right here. This is from the 75 set. This is basically an insert showing some cool cards from 10, 15 years prior. That's all it is. It's an MVP brag card, really.
Yeah.
You used to be able to buy these for $1 a piece. And if Mickey Mantle was on it, maybe it'd be $2.
Right.
These things now, I mean, this is the one that I got in Jimmy Gunn's auction. And last weekend, I overpaid for it. This was one of those, it was in the middle, $25, $30, whatever. I just jumped it to 40, got my free pack, got my money's worth, whatever.
Yep.
I overpaid for it. Well, I just got it yesterday, and you look these up right now. This is a PSA 7. This thing's starting at 40, and I've seen them as high as 100. It's insane.
Who was it? I'm gonna let you keep queuing in, but I want to throw in something here. Somebody had said, maybe it was Guns that mentioned it, but somebody had mentioned something about like a Stashel Page card, like a rookie card, that you could have bought for like $150 to $180. What? How many months ago? And now you'd be lucky if you can get it for $1,000, like in a decent condition. That's how insane the vintage has like kind of crept up on the back end. Like, and I don't think enough people, and maybe we shouldn't be saying this, but we're here to share. I don't think enough people, and I think you would agree, are not paying attention to it. They're just too caught into the players and these young stars that aren't even Hall of Famers yet, that you're taking that high risk on. You're hoping that they're going to have a solid career. You're hoping they're going to make the Hall of Fame. Before we go back to you, Quados, Thom T, what's your take on like what Quados is talking about?
I agree with everything he's been saying. It doesn't bother me a whole lot either that the things but now that it's finally starting to come on where the older cards are coming on. But I try to keep tabs on it. But if you're not watching it 24 hours a day, you're not staying current, because I can't believe how fast it changes. Like and Quados and I and you have talked about the 48 Bowman set before. That 48 Bowman set still sits at a low price. So if you, in my opinion, whatever, there can't be that much of that 48 Bowman out there. And people want to go and they want to buy a Luis Robert rookie, and they want to buy a Ronald Acuna rookie. That 48 Bowman set has Yogi Berra rookie, Stan Musial rookie, Ralph Kiner rookie. It's loaded, man. And if you guys want to pick something up, you know, that those guys, their career is done. There's no speculation, but those cards have to go up sometime. I can't imagine they're not going to go up. They have to go up.
Right. And
They're barely creeping. They're barely creeping because I've been looking for a Yogi for a year, and it's slowly creeping, but it hasn't gotten crushed yet. You're right.
And eventually, once all these new people, you know, there's new investors. What's making this jump is investors, not collectors. What's making this jump is investors. Right. And eventually the investors are going to see that I've made a lot of quick money. I've lost a lot of quick money on these recent investments. You know what? It's just like when you invest when you're in your 30s. I'm 55. When you're in your 30s, you're going to invest a little more risk to try to get the big reward. Once you get your big reward, you're going to start going slow and steady. And once you start going slow and steady, that's when these older cards are going to start coming up. Because everybody are going to see that that's what you want to put your money in if you're actually going to use it as an investment, not a collection. No, I don't do it for investing. And I'm sure Quados doesn't. Yeah, I do it because I like doing it. Right. You know, the 48 Bowman set I got, my dad put together when he was a kid. That's why I had the 48 Bowman set. I got the doubles, I got the triples. But I would sell a few. I would probably sell a few of the doubles and the triples to support my hobby as years went on. Right. But eventually, these older cards, you know, you call them oddball sets. I would call a 48 Bowman an oddball set because it just kind of floated in there. And that's just an example. There's all kinds of sets, and Quados knows that. But these are eventually going to start coming up. He was talking about the 75 tops, the 75 minis. Again, people are going to start getting into the hobby here and realize, oh, there's minis, oh, there's regulars of 75s, and now you get into that, and there's a whole new group of people. And you know, we were talking about it even with the non-sports cards. Def, I was in your auction your auction the other day. Somebody mentioned the Marvel cards, right. And I said, what about the Marvel cards? And we started talking about it. And I looked at it, and I couldn't believe that in December 2 months ago, right, you could get the 5-card hologram set of the 1990 Marvels for $10. The 5-card set, right? As of Wednesday, after your auction, that set was going for $400 for the 5-card set. It went from $10 to $400 in 2 months. Okay, so I had 3 of those sets. I pulled one of those sets out and sold it for almost $400. Today they're down to $150. It's just up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm not going to monopolize the conversation here, but it's just, if you're not on this stuff every day, it's just up, down, up, down, up, down. So it's like got to hit it at the right time.
It's like technology in the computer world, right? Like you go buy a damn computer and the thing's outdated. You have to stay on top of it, or again, I guess like some people would always refer this lately as stocks, similar to stock game, right? Like you have to keep an eye on it. You have to keep going. Quados, I want to hit back on you, and I want to ask you. More or less, I kind of just want to ask you, because you've been on a mantle buying craze lately, and I mean, you've been sending me text after text about daily. I have a couple new mantles that I'm looking at that you just picked up that you scored deals on. Like what decided? I know you were kind of on the T206 or the tobacco card kick for a while, which was a great thing. You got some great deals, but what cued you to, I guess, going on this mantle buying craze?
Well, I was talking to Schmo one day. So I had a trade that kind of went astray, and I didn't mention names. I'm not gonna. Right. I had a trade that went bad, and it wasn't that big of a deal. And I sat there thinking about it. I was talking to Schmo, and because I kind of gave him a heads up because I had actually gotten him involved in some of the trading groups on Twitter. Yeah. So I give Schmo a heads up, obviously, and I said, "Hey, man, watch out for this guy." Yeah. I just got shanghaied, but not. And then I told him, I said, "I've been thinking about this because when you have vintage, there's a lot of high number." Right. And Tom knows this. You get into a lot of high number in the vintage, and those cards, it could be a guy that played 3 days in the MLB, and his card might cost you $5. Right. Which doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal. But some of these sets have 150 cards that are high number. Right. So now you're spending $500, $600, $700 in high number cards for commons. And whether you buy them, I mean, that's how we build our sets. Nobody's got a couple grand laying around to piss away on baseball cards. And so you buy them and, a couple at a time here and there and blah, blah, blah. And I said, thinking about it one day, and I told Schmo, I go, you know what, this is insane. I've got some cool tobacco cards, which they're awesome. I love them. I love finding them. I love searching for them.
Right.
I like the challenge when I find them raw to maybe determine if they're real or not.
Right.
And I did that SGC submission, and one of them came back altered, but everything else was good. Nothing that was a big deal, but
right.
So I told Schmo, I said, you know what, look at all the money we're spending on common nobodies. And I like the Hall of Fame guys. And I told him it was kind of a challenge to myself. I'm going to start selling all my commons, basically starter sets, because I've got a lot of full sets. I had, I think, 12 or 13 or 14. And I'm just going to get rid of these commons, and I'm going to put all the money right back into buying Mickey Mantles and see what I can do. When I started this, probably 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I think I had like 6 or 7 Mickey Mantle cards. I think I'm at 35 now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's that number at 60?
I just got 3 more today.
Wow.
Yeah,
but it's
rolling over. You're rolling over those cards that you've had, the commons that you're not using anymore. So.
And that's what I do. I collected Hall of Famers, and I kind of got caught up in it because I saw guys building sets, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. And it's going to be super easy for me because I already have all the stars. Right. I have the Hank Aaron's and the Willie Mays' and the Clementes, and I had some Mantles already. And that's what I was doing. I build the set that I have the Mickey Mantle in, because that's obviously going to be the biggest card in every set.
Right.
So whatever Mickey I have, that's the set I'm going to start. And then I just realized it, and I just thought, nope, I'm done. So I've been dumping a ton of stuff, and it's, I like them. I really like the tobacco cards. They're awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with them.
Right. Right. Well, Mantle, I mean, you can't really mess with Mantle. Go ahead, Tom.
Well, like Tom said, Mickey Mantle's already in the Hall of Fame. He's already proven that card's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It's always going to be solid.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and I did the same thing years ago with the tobacco cards, and some of them, unfortunately, I let go. Things got rough in 2008 with construction. Things slowed down. I had my first kid start in college. I had T206s. I had a couple Cy Youngs, Walter Johnsons. I moved some of those. I did the same thing that Quados is saying. I bought them raw, took a chance, sent them in. They came back. I think the Cy Young was a PSA 3. The Walter Johnson was a PSA 4. I thought I got decent. I made money. I made good money on them when I sold them because I took the chance. I had a Hank Aaron PSA 5 rookie, and that's the stuff that I let go. And what I've done recently what I knew I shouldn't have done. I looked up what I sold them for, and I looked up what they're worth now. And I should have never done that. But there are some cards that I was surprised by, even with and just recently, and you guys will be shocked about this, but I don't stay up on this stuff all the time. Like I said, it changes every day, but just like the basketball cards, I had no idea what was going on with the basketball cards. Now, I had sold a PSA 7 Magic Johnson Larry Bird rookie in 2009 for I think $250, and now it's $6,000 to $7,000 for a PSA 7.
Easy.
I honestly had no idea that was the case until last week because I didn't look up the vintage. Michael Jordan, yes, but not the other ones. So I went through my stash and I found this PSA 8 Magic Johnson.
Look at that,
Larry Bird rookie. This thing's going between $16,000 and $20,000.
Oh,
for a PSA 8. And I got this one that I'm going to be sending in next week.
Wow.
It's probably better than the one I got here. But I honestly thought that this PSA 8 was probably a $2,500 card when I looked it up.
You forgot a zero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly had no idea. And it just goes crazy and it changes so fast.
Tom, did you find those those rookies there with that Michael Jordan starting lineup that you posted?
Oh yeah, that was today. I was going through an old dresser that I had back in the corner.
Is that his rookie year?
It had that starting lineup was from 1990. So, what it is they have a rookie commemorative card on there from 1990.
But what year did starting lineup start making them? That might, I mean, were they before 90?
Well, it might be his rookie starting lineup. I don't know.
Well, you need to look into it. Did you look into it at all? Like, have you been able to find
it? It looks to me, it honestly looks to me like the card, the thing is mint. There's no, I never had a price tag on it, but I looked it up on eBay, and that's why I was asking people their opinion. The 2 cards that are on it are worth more out of the box than the whole thing is in the box. So do I bust it and pull the cards out and send the cards in? And if it comes back a PSA 10, the cards are worth more than the, but that was just funny. I just happened to find that in the drawer. I had some starting lineups in there, a bunch of Ripkins, Frank Thomas, Olajuwon, I had the Michael Jordan in there. And I know I bought that at Toys R Us or something. It probably came right out of the box when the guy was putting them on the shelf before he even put a price tag on it.
Right. Probably. Well, come on, don't lie to us. You probably bought a pallet of them. You probably got a pallet worth of those.
No, that I don't. That I don't have a pallet of. I dabbled in the statues. I didn't get into the statues that much at all.
Right on. All right, so Quados, let's go back to you. For there's obviously this is going to probably stir some interest. There's obviously been interest in the vintage as anybody gains interest when they see a rise on something or they know about it. I know like our guy Papa J Cards, I told you too, he was looking for T206s, tobacco cards. You guys, I think, even talked because you had some you're looking to move. But what kind of advice would you give to anybody out there that's actually looking to get into the vintage game that is stuck more in the modern era, buying the modern stuff, the ripping the modern stuff, buying the modern rookies? What kind of advice would you give them as you being somebody who's, been dabbling into the vintage game for a while now?
Well, that's going to my chat just refreshed finally. So that's going to actually, Ed R, I saw you asked a question there. Why not wait for vintage instead of overpaying right now? We can answer that.
Yeah, sure.
I don't think so. So it's risen so much. I think it will come down. But I look for any deal. There's a lot of people on eBay, and I've actually shared this. I'm okay with it, even though, maybe somebody else in the chat will grab a card over me. I'm okay with that. I've gotten plenty.
All right.
But there's still some people on eBay that haven't updated their stuff. I actually talked to a guy the other night, or messaged a guy the other night that had a checklist and another one of those inserts. And he had them for $15. And I said, I see you got 2 things listed I'm interested in. What would you do for both of them? He's like, well, if you're going to get them both and it saves me shipping on one, how about if you give me $10? I'm like, all right, done. So there are still some things out there. And this guy, when I looked at the rest of his listings, he was selling stuff like at a rummage sale, be some T-shirts, a tool. He was an eBay seller, maybe went to Savers or something and pick some stuff, and he's selling it. So he knew nothing about cards, and they were really nice. I mean, the pictures that I saw, he was holding them in his hand. I'm like, God, I wonder if they're even real. But then I'm thinking to myself, for $10, who cares? I'm going to take the chance. This guy doesn't. Why would he? Those are just things that you don't fake.
Yeah.
Right. Those checklists. I started to buy them right before this happened, just because they had Mickey Mantle on them or Clemente or whoever on them. All the stars were on those checklists back in the 60s. And that's why I bought them. And you could buy them for $2-3. Well, now those same checklists are starting at $30, $25, $30. I've seen them as high as $100, $150. So even the checklists are in the mix now. But you can still find deals. You just got to search.
It was the same thing years ago with the team leaders cards and the home run leaders cards and the RBI. Even when the Mantles and the Aarons and the Clementes went up in price, those leaders cards and the checklists and the team cards, that stuff stayed low, just like Quados is saying. So you could pick up the home run leaders and the RBI leaders cards relatively cheap, with the Yankee stars on them. And that was the way that was the way that I collected Mantle and those guys, because I wasn't getting the big cards.
And if
you can't afford a Mantle, which I'm getting ready to shut her down. I mean, I still search for deals, but between today and late last night, everybody's caught on. So I'm just going to wait it out now. I'm probably, unless I see something, And I think what's going to happen too is, let's say that card that you got for $20, right now it's going for 200. I think what we're going to see is it's going to come back down, and somebody's going to say, "Oh, that card was 200 last week. I can get it for $100." We're still overpaying,
right?
Because you didn't know, you weren't following it like Thom and I follow vintage. You weren't following it before all this happened, so it looks like you're saving $100, but you're still overpaying 80.
Right.
So I'm probably going to shut her down here pretty quick. I'll still look for the deals, but I don't think they're going to be found.
Ed R says, thanks, Quados. A lot of these flea market guys still use an old Beckett encyclopedia. They don't know eBay. So right now,
those
guys,
are the best.
That
Those
would
are the
be
best.
the best thing for you. Exactly, because the prices and how much they've increased, you're in an advantage there. And here's another thing I was going to cue in or say. Papa's a new member. I appreciate the new member, Papa J. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. And you guys, that's a great guy to check out. If you're looking for any product at a decent price, retail, you can't get your hands on anything, you guys got to go check out Papa J. He's also got a subscription boxes. I've ripped some. I'm not trying to do a whole flea selling thing, but he's a great guy, and he's got some great streams. So check him out. But guys, you bring up flea markets. They use the old Beckett encyclopedias. Another great thing is the antique stores or antique malls, but you have to be careful as well. You know, some guys there are like way overpricing their stuff. I know I used to live stream them and go in there. Remember, we'd find those boxes of vintage. I probably should have bought that back then, but what the guy was asking for was outrageous at the time. You know, we went through it. We found a bunch of those Leader 68, like Harmon Killebrew. I mean, there was some good, decent stuff in there, and they were in decent shape. And he had a ton of stuff. You just kind of had to page through it. But that's another place that you can score, and especially find that vintage stuff. But you just got to be careful, because you have to know your pricing, or you have to pop on your phone and kind of check eBay out and see what they're doing, where they're at, because you could get burned at the same time. So,
and you also got to be careful. I went with a buddy of mine a couple of years ago because he knew that I liked the old T206s from years ago, and he got a hold of me and said, "Yeah, I went to a flea market and I got these T206s. I was taking a chance." And then I looked at them, and then you could see some perforation marks on the sides of them, because they used to do reprint sheets of those. And so he actually got the reprint sheets instead of the regulars. If you get some of the reprint sheets, they're worth something, but they're not worth what you think they're going to be worth. So I mean, if you go to those flea markets, there may be T206 cards in there that people, you know, I remember there was one guy at a card show years ago. I know he said he had a buddy that had a table, and he said his buddy told him he was getting the reprint sets, running over them in his driveway for 10 days, and then throwing them in the dryer and then putting them out, saying, "I don't know anything about this card, but I found it in my grandpa's desk." You know, that's bull crap. You know, stuff like that ruins the hobby. It's like, you got to be careful if you're going to those flea markets, just like Deafness said.
Yeah, because you can get yourself burned real quick. Is there besides like eBay, besides flea markets, antique shops, is there any place else that you guys would recommend people? I mean, does Comac even have much vintage on there on Comac?
I've gotten decent stuff off of Facebook Marketplace, but you know, that was before the rise hit. You know, I was picking up product on, you know, but now everybody kind of knows, and they're throwing stuff on there, you know, here and there and everywhere. You also got to be careful. You're meeting up with people that you don't know, just like Craigslist. You know, if they say, you know, I got this box of 1978 tops, you want to come meet me or something, they know you're carrying around $2,000 in cash. So you got to be real careful about where you're meeting people. You know, meet them at a police station, public place, or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's kind of like, I don't know if you guys ever watched that, Card Collector 2, whatever, the guy that owns that card shop in Ohio. He does like videos of like a day in the card shop, and like he travels. He'll go and buy like $100,000 worth of cards. Like he'll fly to another state and he'll do like a video on it. I'm like, I mean, he's not live streaming it, so nobody can really track where he is. It's uploaded after the fact. But yeah, I mean, you gotta obviously be careful in today's world, you know, especially moving around with that kind of cash, that kind of money. Yeah, it could turn ugly real quick. So what else? Go ahead.
Well, sorry. One thing I know that, the basketball took off. The basketball went nuts. And I don't know if that's because that was the only sport that was playing when the pandemic hit, and then the cards just kind of took off.
Yeah.
The baseball has starting to take off, like Quados is saying. What do you guys think? I mean, people are looking to say, if we're going to invest and, collect what you like. That's what we always say, collect what you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there are people, do we think that the mid-range years of the football and the mid-range years of the hockey are gonna follow a similar pattern at all? Like, you look at Peyton Manning rookie years, you look at all the big players, Terry Bradshaw, all the guys through the 70s, and do we, the hockey players especially, hockey is a niche market.
Right.
I get that.
Very niche-y,
So,
yeah.
do we think that stuff is going to catch up eventually, or do we think it's just still always going to be a niche market with the older football and the older hockey?
Boy, Quados, I don't know. I mean, I think anything is possible now with what we've seen. I mean, Guns did that video the other day where he was showing, I don't remember, it was the Illuminati cards. What were the other cards that he showed? He had an unopened box of something and he didn't even know. He went on eBay and looked at, they were selling for $2,000. He could have bought one of those for like $20, like not too long ago. And he was talking about how, he honestly feels like it's not going to crash anytime soon. And it's just getting started. You know what I mean? So it's hard. Like, you ask a question like that. That's a tough question. Quados, what's your feelings on it?
It's whatever's hot. Hockey's going to start up, and it's going to be nuts. I mean, I was actually talking to RS that we met at the card show with his boy last time, and he's a hockey collector. And Connor McDavid cards are going crazy. They were, now they're even worse. So it's every sport's going to be the same. I mean, look at Tiger Woods' rookie card, for Christ's sake. It's nuts. Anything that has any value. And Thom, you're 100% right. The investors are in here now. I actually, if you're on Twitter, you already know this, but I actually was right in the middle of a deal with a mantle card. And the guy went crappy on me right in the thing, and he commented back, investors are involved now. The price is only going up. And I'm like, we're right in the middle of negotiating a deal, and all of a sudden he just goes stray on me and throws that at me. And I'm like, so people they know. People are all over it now.
Yeah.
And I think no matter what sport it is, who would have thought that soccer would have been huge? I mean, I didn't even know they made soccer cards. And now
they're crazy.
And it's funny, going back to Jimmy Guns, in his auction Saturday night, he's just joking around, got a box of New Kids on the Block. Star Wars is taking off. Pokemon was already Pokemon, but now you got all these older ET cards. Star Wars, New Kids on the Block. I mean, what the hell?
Dick Tracy, I think, even had cards.
Any place where there's $1 to be made, it's going to happen.
Right. Yeah, and going back to baseball with the season starting, and again, like Top Series 1, like there is 50 rookies in this year's Series 1 set. The A-Team, look at that. He's got an open box of the A-Team card.
Get your B.A. Baracus rookie card. That thing's going to go for big money.
Thom, have you checked prices on what a pack of those are selling for right now? You might be surprised. It might be $2,000.
Hey, Def, I didn't even check the Magic Johnson Larry Bird rookie. What do you think? I'm going to check the A-Team?
He's probably got 4 houses worth in cards that he's got sitting down there. He has no clue. He thinks he's maybe sitting on a house. He's got 4 houses. You might even be able to get that yacht that we could all go on a long vacation and chuck around the ocean, if you will. Baseball card collector did a show a few weeks ago. He's a financial planner in a conference. He had someone from China said they are telling their investors to look at cards instead of stocks. See, that's true. Insane. Yeah, it's insane. Like, this is Saved by the Bell cards. He does have Saved by the Bell cards too. Jimmy does. Man, who knows? Thom probably too. Thom probably does too. What was the girl's name that everybody was always in love with? What was her name?
Oh.
Come on, I know you guys know.
I didn't watch it.
Come on. I don't
Screech.
remember
It's
her
a
name
Screech rookie card.
Screech card. There you go. Screech rookie card. But queuing back to the baseball season, baseball is definitely going to heat up, guys. It's not like this crash is going to happen tomorrow. Like baseball pitchers, catchers reported this last week. We got over 50 rookies in the Series 1 baseball. It's gonna get insane. You might be able to find some Topps product right now. You may be lucky, and because I know I've seen people say when they've gotten into their Walmarts and Targets that are still selling cards or selling retail that they've actually still seen Topps baseball sitting there. I was actually at Shields. I think I'm saying it right. I always say Shells, but it's actually Shields. It's a big sports store in the Eden Prairie Mall in Minnesota here. Me and my son went out there. Look for some new gear and whatnot. They got sports stuff. They got everything. They got every sport. I mean, it's 2 levels. It's a huge store, bigger than a Dick's Sporting Goods, if you know what that is. And we were just looking at everything. And all of a sudden, I came across, they had 40 blasters of Series 1 baseball, Top Series 1. The problem was they were selling them for $30.
Yeah.
You know, they're supposed
stores are starting to get hip to that. There's a chain in Michigan called Meijer. It's a department store, kind of like a Walmart before a Walmart.
Yeah.
But the Meijer started doing that. They're charging $5 more a box than every place else is, which, you know, you can walk in there and find something. You know, I went in there the other day and they had the Topps Holiday, Deafness's favorite cards with the Santa Clauses all over them. But they were $27 a box, and that's why they were still sitting there. Right. And what's going on now too is the Targets, and it's a good thing. The Targets and the Walmarts are starting to move the product behind the counter, so which keeps the flippers out of the loop. I happened to stop in. I was out doing inspections Friday. I went in to see if they had any cards, and the card section was gone. And so I went up to the service counter and said, "Do you guys have any cards? Did you stop carrying them?" They said, "No, we have them in the back here, and limit 2 boxes per person of any type. You can get 2 boxes. Doesn't matter what it is."
I'm a fan
and
of
so
that.
Am I. So am I.
The limit around me is 1.
I was actually able to pick up a couple of boxes of Topps Update Chrome that I hadn't been able to find forever. And I said, "What do you got?" I said, "You got any baseball, basketball, football?" They said, "We got baseball. We got Topps Update Chrome." I said, "I'll take 2 boxes of that because I have never been able to find it."
Right.
It gave me something to open. But I'm glad they're doing that. And I told them, I said, back in the day, and Quados probably remembers, and Def, you might too, you'd go into the department stores back in the mid-'90s and they were locked up behind the glass with the video games and stuff. And you had to have somebody open the cabinet to let you in to get the cards. And I recommended that to the Walmart lady. I said, "You already got somebody working back at the computers and the video games and the phones and stuff are all locked up.
Right.
Just have a display back there with the boxes too, and it saves you the hassle.
We just had
having to chase it around later.
Right. One of the guys that we meet at the card show.
But
one of the guys we meet at the card show
every month. That's a good thing,
I
think.
You guys, all right.
One of the guys we meet at the card show every month, his buddy texted him and said there was a 50-person brawl down in Minnetonka over the card stocking kid.
Ridiculous.
A couple people got arrested. I don't even look for stuff anymore. If I'm going to the store to get something, I'll quick take a peek.
Yeah, that's what I do.
And I've seen some. Our limit up here is one pack of anything. And I've seen some, and I'll quick text a couple guys, "Hey, there's some here. If you want me to grab you one, I'm here." And the one day the kid let me get 2 packs, a blaster and a fat pack, but I'm not even interested in it anymore. I'm not. For me, this has been the best thing that's ever happened.
I'm seeing more and more tweets out there too of people saying, like, within the states they're in, that they're not doing it anymore. They're not going to carry any more sports cards, any like regular sports cards, period, because they're just sick of the lines, they're sick of the brawls, there's
too many problems,
too many problems, and it's not worth it for them. And again, they bring that in. It's not, it's off consignment, so it's like MJ Holdings, whoever. It's not really theirs anyway. Like you know, if it's stolen, it's stolen. It doesn't affect them, like, you know, at the end for their sake, because it doesn't count as any of their inventory. You know, you walk in there once in a while, you'll see the DNI, do not inventory, if they're doing some kind of inventory or something. So, what's up, Beloy? Just seen there's a card show in Indy next weekend. May have to drive down and check it out. Yeah, I would always tell you guys, if you haven't been to your card shows, or if you haven't been to one for a while, you should get out and experience them. See who else is around your area. Meet up, link up with them. We always have a pretty good crew. We got our boy Shizzler. We got some people afraid of cameras around our neck of the woods, but all in all, it's good, right? So, all right, let's get back to the vintage again. We kind of veered around a little bit, but that's okay because we just go where it takes us. What was I gonna ask about the vintage? I don't know. Thom T, why don't you give us some advice on someone who would be looking to get into vintage as well? We got Quados take. Give us a little take on what you would say as far as advice to somebody who would be looking into getting into vintage that's more into the modern era.
Well, again, collect what you like. And that's the same. I did the same thing Quados did. You know, I tried to concentrate on Hall of Famers of the guys who have already retired. But if you're going to, you know, honestly, I think if you're going to collect what you like, that takes everything out of the equation. If you're looking to possibly make some money, I honestly think that the other sports are something to look at. Football, hockey, NASCAR, even old NASCAR cards from the 80s are still dirt cheap. And like we said, soccer took off, Marvel took off. We were talking about all these non-sports and stuff. If you like NASCAR at all, look at the old 80s NASCAR cards, the Max cards. You know, they did not make a lot of that stuff. Right. And if you like that stuff, even, you know, you can even find some 70s stuff from the NHRA and other things like that. But if you compare a wax box of 1980, you know, 86, or 86 probably, but even 1988 Topps wax is cheap, and you got Hall of Famers in there. So it all depends on what you want to do. Do you want to collect wax? Do you want to collect cards? Are you in it for investing? I mean, it's tailored to each person individually. But personally, I think that I might start looking at picking up some of the other sports that have not jumped yet, because I got to imagine it's going to trickle down. And if it doesn't, it's not going to dive. It's always going to be a steady price.
Correct.
So,
correct. Good take. Quados, what else did you want to cue in on as far as vintage in general? Because I know you wanted to kind of touch on a lot in vintage tonight. So
I saw Fester had posted there when we were where to try to find some stuff, and estate sales is another one.
Right.
Estate sales, auctions. They'll have some auctions around, but there it depends. I think there it depends on if you're able to look at some of the stuff, and or if it's just a sealed box. You know, here's a box of stuff.
It could be just
bidding. And I've had that before. I bought a box, and I told the guy, I said, you got to at least let me grab one handful. Because I don't know, you know, I'm not going to spend $300 or $400 on this box. You got to let me at least grab a handful. Well, the handful that I grabbed, this is great. I'm thumbing through it, and I see Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Mike Schmidt rookie, Mike Schmidt rookie, Mike Schmidt rookie. I'm like, all right, I'll take it.
Right? Nothing like getting something like that on a blind buy, but you could get burned as well. It could go either way.
Right, and you gotta, with vintage too, there's another thing, and that's why I like it. It's challenging.
Right.
There's some stuff that, you know, I'll do some research on how to identify fakes. And one of the biggest things is pixels, but you need a loop for that. Sometimes your camera phone, like my phone that I have now, I don't even know what it is. It's one of the newer ones, which, like you said before, it's 3 weeks old. It's outdated.
Right.
But you can take a picture of it and you can zoom in, and you want to look at pixels. And pixels back then were round. And if you see a lot of reprints and a lot of modern day stuff, the pixels are like X's or squares. It's a different shape. That's one thing. Right. And like on your 51 Bowmans, the cardstock is gray all the way through. So if you can look at the edge of it, some of those cards are beat up so you can see the creases. If it's a white crease, it ain't good. So there's some things that you like to try to search and find, and that's when you're going to get your best deals. Your best deals are going to be on raw cards.
Right.
Anything graded is going to bring a premium.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Because you already know what you're getting.
One thing too that somebody mentioned 357, I think, mentioned wrestling cards, like the old WWF cards. Those are going crazy too, guys. I think it was Guns that posted a picture on Twitter or something, a bunch of them that he got, that he didn't realize just how crazy value those things hold right now. So Eloy, our buddy Eloy the GOAT, over the last few years, as I've gone to yard sales with cards, I've made a database on their address if they were old, and if they smoked, I'm waiting for their estate sale. There you go.
Yeah, but then you got smoke damage cards.
Yeah, there you go.
Garage sales and rummage sales around here get hammered with.
We know you're kidding, Eloy. We know you're kidding. You're always kidding. When are you actually serious? You know that? When are you actually serious? You're never serious.
That 51 Bowman year that Quados was talking about. It's going to be
Papa J will be actually going.
Oh, it's going to be like you said. If it creases, it's going to be gray all the way through. This Ted Williams has a crease, but it's gray all the way through.
Right.
There's no white showing.
Right.
And then you talk about graded cards. I've always been a proponent of the only reason that you grade a card is if you want to sell it. I don't collect graded cards usually. If you're looking to sell a card in this market and you want to get money for it, it's got to be graded or you shouldn't be selling it. That's how I look at it. Any vintage I'm talking about. If you're going to sell vintage and you're selling it raw and you know it's a decent card, you're giving money away.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, that's very good.
You got to grade it if you want to sell it. Now you don't have to grade it if you're just going to hang on to it. You know, I know what a nice card is, and if I'm not looking to move it, why do I need to send it in to get graded? So,
right. Mark M says, he's telling Carter, but anybody, Papa J will be in Indy next weekend at that card show. So if you're looking for something to do, you can find him and meet up with him. Again, guys, networking, meeting up with people, hanging out with people at the shows, getting to know people within your area. You can start building your own little, monthly card show communities and whatnot. And it's always a good time. It's always a better time meeting people up there than usually going by yourself or just rolling solo. So, seeing what everybody's buying. Maybe if you can find a box for a decent price, you guys can buy in. I know me and Quados try to find something, and then he's like, "Oh, he thought he saw something cool," and then we realized, wait a minute, what was it? Oh, like the Prism basketball. We thought at first it was Prism. I think someone else was excited, and then we found out it was Prism draft picks or whatever. So we decided to hold up on it. But you never know. I mean, you can find something, and it's the way it goes. The high bids. Mark M also had mentioned the high bids site is a estate. Is a lot of state sale drop-offs, then auction off. My local high bid has a lot of good deals. So high bid, I think it was highbid.com, or is it highbids.com? Maybe you can put it in the chat again. But that was another recommended website or recommended place that you could go and, possibly find, especially if you're looking for vintage style cards. I have a new hobby, hunting for MJ Holdings employees. There you go, Kevin. That's good. That's a good hobby, brother. That is a good hobby. So, all right. Anything else? I want to stay on the vintage for a little bit longer if we can. But is there anything else that either you, Quados, or Thom T want to touch on? Advice you want to give? Anything else that you may want to touch on when it comes to vintage in the hobby?
I don't know that you, if you're thinking about hopping into it, now is not the time.
All right.
Now that it's starting to hit the older stuff, like I said earlier, you're going to see it drop from say a $200 down to $100, but you're still going to be overpaying. It's not the time to. Now is not the time to be doing it.
I think all three of us is. I don't know how old Quados is, but I can speak for myself.
35.
Yeah. How old are you? What'd you say?
47.
You said 35.
I'm 55. So we've seen this before. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And Quados is exactly right. If you're looking to get into certain things, now may not be the time to do it. Not to say that you may not buy something for $200 that will go up to $400 in a month.
Right.
But but eventually, I got to imagine, and I could be wrong, but I got to imagine that just like Quados, that it's going to come back down a little bit. So it's tough to call. Obviously, if we all knew and we had a crystal ball, we'd all go out and buy, you know, a thousand John Elway cards, thinking they might go up. We don't know. They might go up, but then again, they might go down. So, but now, like he said, now that it's the new hotness, it may not be the time to buy if you're looking to get them in the long run. For some of us, there's less of a long run than other ones because we're a little bit older.
Right. Well, and we're also let's kind of veer in. Let's drive from the vintage and let's get kind of into that junk wax era. You do see some excitement. You do see a little bit of stirring up the pot, if you will, of the junk wax era, some of that 89 Donruss, 88 Donruss, some of that stuff. You're starting to see it, and you're starting to see people get a little more excited about some of that stuff.
Oh, it jumped.
Do you?
Yeah, it is. It absolutely jumped.
Do you guys? Yeah, I mean, so it jumped, but is it going to jump more? Is this maybe, you know, and none of us can predict the future, but is this maybe another thing that's going to continue to take a bit of a jump? And should you be jumping on those unopened boxes that you could grab for $20, $30?
Well, I just priced some. It's funny that you're talking about that. Let me put you back on the shelf here. For example, you said 1989 Donruss. I've got some sealed rack cases of 1989 Donruss, which I picked up in 1989. For years, you couldn't get $70 a case for that stuff. There's 72 rack packs per box. It jumped up to maybe $2 or $2.50 a couple of months ago, right when the baseball season was getting over. I was surprised, and you talk about keeping an eye on things every single day. You got to watch. I was surprised to see that those cases are going for $500 a case now, right, for just 72 rack pack sealed box. And so,
crazy.
Can it go up from there? I would have said it can't go up from 250.
Right.
So I don't know.
I got a case of 88 and a case of 87.
Yeah, for me, it doesn't seem like it's something that should be that hard to get. But then again, it's because I had some. So maybe I'm jaded because I think it's all over the place because I have some. I don't know.
I will say one card right now. And I was looking today because I was kind of thinking outside the box, but it's still a Hall of Famer. It's a junk wax 80s rookie cards. The best one that I've seen right now. Everybody, hopefully nobody leaves the stream and goes and starts looking them up. But right now,
giving away the secret.
You can go find, and I'm not being biased here, I was actually really surprised. Kirby Puckett 85 rookie card right now. You can find in a 7, 8, 9, right around $30, $20. I've actually got like 4 or 5 bids out right now on them. Oh, the Don Mattingly 84 is one that really jumped. And I think I got a PSA 7. I think I paid $10 for it. Right now that one's up around 100. But you can get Kirby Puckett 85 rookie card right now for cheap.
And that does make me think of something else that I was thinking about. And that's what I'm talking about. These undervalued mid 80s guys, even into the 90s. Is, you know, there's an old adage that goes around is that you collect PSA 9s and you sell PSA 10s. That is changing a little bit, in my opinion, because people are starting to realize the value of a lesser graded card, like a PSA 9 or a PSA 8, or like you said, a PSA 7. Those are starting to climb as well. When people realize, boy, I'd like to have a PSA 10 Kirby Puckett rookie card, and then they realize there maybe is only 100 of those. Well, now the values of the 9s start going up, and when the values of the 9s start going up, the 8s start going up, and so if you are looking at collecting, it's possible that that's one avenue to go to make sure you're avoiding forgeries, but you want to get in the market of getting cards rather than going the raw route. Do what Quados said and get a 7 or get an 8. Maybe find an affordable 9. And that was something I wanted to touch on that I forgot about.
Or even honestly, take a plunge and if you can, if it's a certain card or certain player you're really after and you can afford to do it, maybe even take that plunge at a 10, right? Because these older cards, like in that 80s, mid 80s, where you could still find possibly 10s, they might be pricey, but how many of those are we going to find? How many of those are we going to see? How much unopened product, even from 85 tops that there might be lingering out there, is there going to be a 10 pulled of, say, a Kirby Puckett, right? So that's another thing that you could possibly, for down the road, capitalize as these things keep moving around. Now, Ed R. said so many in existence, though. And there's one thing, and I want to get your guys' opinion on this as well. I'm going to tell you my opinion, then I want Quados to go and then Thom T to go. The big thing on like the junk wax era and stuff, yes, there was millions and millions and millions and millions printed. But my theory is that as we went through that whole era, and as a lot of people are like, oh, well, this is just junk wax, I think a lot of this stuff, there's still a lot out there. I'm not saying it's like rare now or anything. Don't take it that way. But what I am getting at is I think there's a lot of that that's really no longer around or in existence. Trashed, burned, what have you, whatever. So the thing is figuring out how much of that did we lose? Did people trash, throw away, dump, burn, dispose of, whatever it might be? So again, as we start seeing a climb in that section of this junk wax era, as we start seeing that rise in there, I mean, what are you guys' thoughts on what I just said? Basically, Quados, go ahead.
I think you're absolutely right, and the reason I think that there's two things that lead me to believe that those 80 cards, those Mattingly rookies, those Gwynns, those Boggs, Sandberg, Puckett, I think that's the chase right now, in my opinion. They're proven, they're Hall of Famers, they're affordable. And here's the thing that the difference, the 80s junk wax, just like you said, we all looked at it as junk wax. Who cares about that? We threw them away. We gave them to I've given probably 10,000 cards away to the neighbor kids.
Right.
And some of the parents had actually said, quit giving my kid cards. We got too many. We don't want no more. And what else did you do? You threw them away. I mean, you did. I've thrown them away. Nobody wants them. The flip side of that is I think the regular base card, like I think that's why I seen a Kirby Puckett rookie card today on eBay, whether it's a 7, 8, or 9, right around the $30 range.
Yeah. In
that same era, they came out with the Tiffany's. The Tiffany's are going for thousands. So all these investors, they don't want to mess around with $30 cards. They're going after $2,000 cards. I think the Kirby Puckett 10 Tiffany, I want to say, was like $1,900. And then right below it, you got a Kirby Puckett 9 for $30 or best offer.
Right.
Screw the Tiffany. If you want to get a Hall of Famer, I go to vintage. I go up to 86. And 86 is horrible too. There's really nobody in that set except for the traded set. But anything before 85, 84, 83, 82, Ripken's rookie card's cheap right now. I went down to the card shop a few weeks ago and grabbed one off the wall that the guy had pinned on the board. It was $10.
Yeah.
So you can still find them, and those are guys that played in my era or my day, and they're very affordable.
Right.
And I don't think that there probably is still millions of them, but I don't think there's 30 million of them like there used to be. A lot of them are in the garbage. A lot of them got thrown away. We gave them to kids. Kids trashed them. Oh, the Don Ross, yeah.
Mark, like you said,
two for a $10.
Yeah.
Mark said, I'm going to have you answer next time, but Mark, I just want to put in what Mark put in the chat. He said they said the same thing about a lot of 60s and 70s cards, and the values have gone crazy with them as well. So, Thom T, touching back on what Quados just kind of went off of what I had said, I mean,
Yep.
you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I don't disagree with what you're saying, and we're talking about the 80s, but what's going to happen, and we saw a little bit of it with the 90s, is the 80s are going to drift into the 90s, just like Mark was saying with the 60s and 70s. The next ones to possibly start creeping up will be the mid-80s cards. Don't sleep on the 90s cards. Chipper Jones, Frank Thomas, Ken Griffey Jr., Yes, you were absolutely right when you say we look at this as junk wax. I know that Quados throws the mid 80s into the junk wax, which was technically the beginning of the junk wax era, mid 80s, but it hit us hardest in the early 90s. What happened, and I can speak from personal experience, I had a crap load of that stuff. I gave unopened cases of boxes away to kids. I gave totes and totes full of cards away to kids because I sat down and opened cases looking for certain cards. I'd sit down and I'd bust 2 wax box cases looking for the Michael Jordan SP baseball card. And I'd take all the extra ones and I'd give them away to the neighbor kids. I didn't care if there was Chipper Joneses in there. I didn't care if who was in there. So what happened with that stuff is a lot of it got opened, because if you were sitting around with nothing to do, when the cards took a total dive, what am I going to do with these 10 cases of 91 upper deck I got sitting here? Well, I'll bust it, see if I can pull a Nolan Ryan autograph, see if I can get a Hank Aaron autograph. And in the meantime, the Chipper Jones rookies and everybody else goes by his wayside, and you give them away to whoever, and then who knows what those kids do with them? They don't take care of them necessarily. So that could be a justification as to why these cards from the mid to late 80s and early 90s and even to the mid 90s, up to even with the Derek, even getting into 93 with the Derek Jeter, I think that was more of the start of they started slowing down production just a tiny bit from what they did in the late 80s and early 90s. So like I said, a lot of that stuff was given away. A lot of that sealed product got opened and distributed. However, like I said, I knew some guys that would call me up and say, do you want all these cards that I remember when we bought these cases of cards? I got some too. Do you want them? I said, no, I don't want them. I got basement full of them. What am I going to do with them? And I didn't, but they had bonfires. They saying, bring a case of beer over. We'll burn some of these cards. I got to get these out of my basement. I got a family. I got a family starting in a house, and I got to put a room in the basement. And I got my wife saying, I got no room in the house. I got to get rid of these things, and these are junk. Okay, well, how common was that? Probably pretty common, because it sounds like Quados has a similar stories from what I've heard. You're giving away cards to the neighbor's kid. You're pitching cards that are commons because you took them down to the card shop. I got 4 totes full of commons from the 80s and the mid 80s and early 90s. I take them to the card shop, and the guy at the card shop says, "Don't give me your crap. Don't leave that here. I don't want it."
Right.
Okay, so I give it away to whoever, and there's other guys who burn them. So is there still a lot of it out there? Yeah, there's probably still a lot of it out there, but there's not nearly as much as there was. And so that could drive these late 80s and early 90s cards up. So keep your eye on that, because I think that eventually it's going to trickle into that, the price going up.
Yep. And like you said, like you guys said, like giving them to kids and stuff. Younger kids, how many of them really take care of their stuff unless their father is around, right? Unless their father is around, and maybe their mother that knows enough to, hey, maybe protect them, at least put them into binders. But when they're shoving them in their binders, how are they shoving them in their binders, right? They're probably just corners to the sides, just rubbing it down to slide it in. Yeah.
That's why I was giving when none of my 3 kids really got into sports cards, but one of them got heavy into the Pokemon cards in 2000. And I was always doing baseball cards, so I sat down with him and we took care of his Pokemon cards really well. And shoot, his Pokemon cards are probably worth more than my baseball cards at this point.
So yeah, and then Fester had mentioned, a lot of YouTube channels do like the Throwback Thursdays, ripping some of that junk wax as well. So again, the unopened stuff, might even be better, like, to hang on to. I know Thom is very, very good at, like, having stuff. He's probably had boxes that he's been sitting on, pallets of cards probably unopened that are what, how many years old? Well, you used to buy them in the pallet loads from what was it before Sam's Club, or what was the place you got those when you told the story about?
I used to go down to Eastern. There was a place called Eastern Market in Detroit where they had the wholesale houses. You go down there at 2:00, 3:00 in the morning, and they've got well, what happened is, I'll tell the story real quick. My buddy used to go to the farmer's market about an hour away from Detroit. Well, we were in high school, so we would run. He said, come and sit with me in the morning. I said, what do you mean sit with you? I said, you're selling green beans and peas, or what are you doing? He says, yeah, I go down to the Eastern Market and I buy a bushel full of green beans, and then I break them up into pints and we sell them and we make a little bit of money. I said, yeah, all right, I got nothing else going on right now. I'll go with you. So when we went down there, he said, I want to run over to this wholesale house and grab a thing of gum. So I like eating the gum balls while we're sitting there selling the cards, or sitting there selling the vegetables. So we went in there, and he's over there buying a big bag of gumballs. I look over, and there's pallets sitting there of 1982 Topps, Donruss, Fleer, and Topps, Donruss, and Fleer. And I saw him sitting there, just cases of these things. And I said, am I allowed to buy some of these? The price tag on them was like $7.20 for a box. And I showed you, I know in Deafness's stream, I showed those before.
Yeah.
And he says, no, you're supposed to have a wholesale, you have to have a wholesale number in order to buy those. So I got on the phone and called my uncle, who owned an auto service place, and he gave me his wholesale number. So every Saturday we'd go down there. I'd buy 4 or 5 boxes of these 82 Donruss, 82 Fleer, with the money I'd make from the farmer's market, and cutting grass and working at my uncle's auto shop or whatever. But that's how I got started buying cards. And then eventually I'd go down to Lansing, Michigan, where they had 3 or 4 different wholesale distributors for the stores, the candy wholesalers. And I'd walk in there with my uncle's number, and I'd buy cases of Donruss, Fleer, whatever I wanted. I'd walk in there and buy a case or 2 every week.
Crazy.
Open some, put some away, and 82, 83, 84, 85. I was going down there buying all kinds of stuff. And I stashed a little bit of it away. Definitely owns that.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I was younger, my mom would take me to like Sam's Club or whatever. You get the like 86 Topps football, right? Jerry Rice rookie, Steve Young rookie.
Nice.
I don't know how many boxes of those I got for, I don't know, $10 or maybe back then. I don't remember what it was for the box, but you got the nice little black line across the top that tells you it came from a Sam's Club or a wholesale.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But the difference in that is you're a gorilla ripper.
Right. So. I can't save anything. I still have to save these 2 boxes that Jeremy sent me. Jeremy D sent me. He just did do whatever with them. We're gonna wait and auction those off when we do the ripping for the cure our week. But they're like sitting here and I want to rip them, So
here's what Deafness is talking about with the line.
Oh yeah. Yep. That if it's got that black marker line, it's from a wholesale club. Like
this means it was from a wholesale club. This is a 88 Topps cello box. Like and that's what he's talking about. That's just to show it. Some of you guys may not know what he's talking about. That's that's the black line. And that's not like the old X outs that used to be able to get to when wholesalers would return cases back to Topps. Topps would, since they were open, they would put black X's on them, and then they'd get, they'd sell them at a discounted price.
Right.
I'm gonna have to go over to Tom's house and shop.
Oh man, I can't wait. One day we're gonna meet up and go to a game, and I can't wait to see what the heck he's got going on around there. Take a road trip this way. We could take a road trip together. We could all go to a game, Quados. We're close enough. He's in Michigan. We all go out. We drive down to Michigan and go for a little road trip. Such a hassle to move to. Okay, so Ed R says a little bit about like the junk wax cards as well. Like how many kids put them in their bike spokes, used them in their bike spokes. I mean, they were used for anything and everything. And a lot of that stuff, like you said, throwing in fires, bonfires. You bring a case over of common junk wax, we'll start the fire and we'll have some drinks. Whatever it might have been, like they've touched on. Such a hassle to move. My daughter is into Korean pop album cards. She penny sleeves the top loads at her mom's house. I'm proud of her. That's good that she's doing it over at her mom's house too, and not with you, like you being in the hobby. And like it's good that she can do that. Thanks for reminding me of the boxes and box of cards I've given away over the years, LOL, and just thrown away. And when I moved, yeah, I mean for real, that's I think we all did that, right? Like. Ed said not only the bike spokes, but he said, when you move, especially if you moved when you're younger 4 or 5 times and you just didn't want to move them anymore, right? Because you were like, who wants to move all this stuff? Who wants to take time? Just trash it. Just throw it in the big dumpster bin or whatever. I mean, I think what we're kind of referring to and talking to here, just the way everything's been going with the hobby, I think we're going to move in that direction. And I think you're going to, well, you already have seen it, but I think you're going to see it reach maybe not quite what vintage has done and modern is right now, but I think it's going to get close before any kind of crash, if there is a crash that's going to happen. But we shall see. So anything else you guys want to add on the either the junk wax era or the vintage era?
That's all I got. All my Frank Thomas and Chipper Jones cards, like Tom said. Go down to the card shop. You can buy the box for $5, $3. Antique store, $3.
Right.
And that's exactly what I did. I bought them for a Throwback Thursday video, opened them on YouTube. That's how I got all my Frank Thomas, my Chipper Jones rookies, my Mike Mussina rookies. That's where all those came from.
Hey, Definitely one quick thing. I think Mark is still in here. He's been in here. Mark is back in things again, and I see him all over the place, and he's always commenting and being,
he's a great
part of the stream. And I saw him mention something when I showed the Ripton cards that I got all those Ripton cards, and he doesn't even have one. So I'm going to add this to his stack of my stuff.
Look at that, dude! The Hobby Love, Jeff Hobby Central Show live,
and I'm actually sitting on a card here. I'm supposed to send Mark anyway. So I'm going to add that to his stack. He won a giveaway I did with the Randy Johnson rookie a couple weeks back that I haven't sent yet. So Mark, we appreciate you. I know Quados does. I know Deafness definitely does. You're in here. You're constantly talking. You're doing stuff. So I'm going to add that to your stack since you mentioned that you like that Ripton card.
Posting links. Fester says he loves Thom T's stories. Your old getting your hobby cases and whatnot. So
well, I got that old man in me. I'm getting better at telling long stories.
So I don't know how much more we got to roll on here or go on, but I guess if each one of you and we'll see where it goes. If we stay on longer, if we got more to touch on, that's fine. I mean, I'm cool. We don't need to end it, but I don't know how much farther or where we're going here from where we're at. So, I guess we'll start with Quados. Quados, tell us or give us, man, it could be either hobby related. Actually, this could be kind of curving into an in-depth type of thing here. Tell us, and we've done it in depth already, so people have heard a lot or most of the story of what you've shared. But tell us either a cool story about you, hobby related or non-hobby related. Either way, because again, this is a show for people to get to know you guys better. That's why we do these. So it's something that one cool story. It can be long, it can be short, it can be however you want it. It's your time.
Boy, I don't even know.
Did I catch you with a off the wall question?
I don't ever do anything cool.
Tom, are you ready? Are you ready to share? Maybe Quados can think. I'm sure you got enough cool stories here. So
yeah, you're getting an old man going on stories. That's never a good thing. Yeah, I remember one day I was walking down the street and I found a nickel. No, I'm just kidding.
Whoa.
I thought of one.
You got something to share with us here.
I thought of one.
All right, go ahead, and then we'll let
It was just the other day, and it's not that cool of a story, but it is. So so whenever I find an eBay seller, I always look at what else other listings they have to see if I can package something on, because you'll save on shipping and stuff.
Yeah.
And I actually got I haven't got it yet, but I pretty much got a 1954, I believe it is, Monty Irving, and it's in great shape. And I actually got it for like, I think it was like $15. It might have even been free. After everything considered, it was like next to nothing. And the reason that I was trying to package it is because I was getting a mantle. And I'm like, I always ask, what's your best price? What would you do if I did this? What would you do if I did that? And the guy shoots me, and anyway, I got it, and I got it for Schmoll because he collects the former Negro Leaguers. But Monty Irving's a Hall of Famer too, and it's an awesome card. So that, I don't know, it's not that cool of a story, but getting a free banger is, right. and he's gonna love it. He's gonna love it.
Like, yeah.
And the only stories I would have is when you say collect what you like, but keep what you like, and and I go through my old cards here. I pulled out a box to grab that 51 Bowman that Quados was talking about. And this is a box I haven't gone through in a while. I'm surprised I could even remember where that Ted Williams card was. But as I go through the box, I see my Walter Payton.
Look at that.
And this is, these cards are obviously the 51 Bowman I did not pull as a kid, guys. I'm not that much of an old man, but but the 76 Walter Payton I did pull that as a kid in 1976. This goes with my complete set that I put together from Wax Packs in 1976. And this is one of my most favorite cards, only because it's not mint. The corner is dinged on it. I believe that when I was collecting cards back then, I can remember I was putting them in my dad's old cigar boxes. My dad, a lot of you guys don't remember that those old cigar boxes were really hard cardboard to protect the cigars. So when he'd finish the box, it was a nice sturdy box for me to put my cards in. And it just reminded me of that when I was going through this, how much fun it is to collect. I'm 55 years old and I feel like a 10-year-old kid when I pull this card out, because I can remember getting this card. And that was a big card, and that's the fun of collecting. Some people want to sell their whole collection and just make money. I get more joy out of just pulling a card like that out and looking at it, because I know that I got that card when I was a kid. I've got a whole big stack of them here that I go through, and here's another one that was one of my favorites because it was a Tiger, and I pulled this one as a kid too, 1978 Allen. I call it an Alan Trammell rookie, but a lot of people call it a Paul Molitor rookie,
right,
which is always funny. But he was one of my favorite Tigers, and so anyway, that's just a random old man story that it's just fun to pull cards out that you remember pulling when you were a kid. When you're 10 years old, and here 45 years later, you're still excited about looking at it. Not everybody's a nerd like that, but I am.
I want to share a story with you guys, and I actually it's something that I actually witnessed or watched this weekend, and it doesn't personally involve me, but I always like to kind of share things and my thoughts and hopefully make things seem better and brighter for people, even if you're in a tough spot or you think you're out there struggling and maybe it's not as bad as it really is, but you think it is. So what's up, Blackbird? We got Blackbird in the building. So there is a shout out to my man Blackbird. So there is there's actually a streamer that I pop into and watch every so once in a while, I guess, every so often. And I got stuck into watching him majority of the weekend this weekend because it was a constant downfall of everything he had happening to him. He streams. He's been homeless. He's lived in cars. He documents his life. He seems to never have luck turn his way. So he was trying to get over the weekend. He was supposed to be going over to Canada where his girlfriend is, right? He got documentation. He got stuff because you're not supposed to get over there unless it's like essential. But he got all the paperwork approved. He got everything pushed through. So he took a flight from somewhere up to like Seattle or something. They lost his luggage. All that he had left, he pretty much got rid of everything else that he had in his life, but one suitcase. They lost his luggage on the flight. he missed the next connecting flight to Canada because something with the ticket. I mean, it just continues downfall. But he gets to the border. He's waiting for a bus that never shows up. He gets to the border. He gets across the border, right? And then all of a sudden a bunch of security or border patrol come and surround him, and they deny him access into getting into Canada. He doesn't have a home. He doesn't have shit. He has like really no money. Like his streaming thing is where he gets his money. Like people donate to him, whatever. His girlfriend's been helping him try to get in or get over into Canada. And I mean, the dude's last I saw today, he went to try to get someone else was going to send him money via Western Union or something. And he went into this Rite Aid store, and the type of viewers that watch some of these streamers do some very nasty things, and they call them like callers. And so he goes in there just trying to get money from Western Union, just trying to get whatever. He actually ended up buying something, and somebody called the store and said that they were security for the company and said that he has already been trespassed in a Rite Aid before and that he was trespassing. Which wasn't true. Just somebody, and they just took the advice. The employee just didn't verify it was a security person. That's what they do often, right? So he gets out of the store, starts walking away, and 2 officers walk up to him. And he's like, is there something I did now? I mean, and this is just a tail end. It just continues to get worse and worse. As of right now, I don't even know. I don't even know. The dude's probably sleeping on the streets or something. But if you guys think you have it bad, if you guys think life is bad, if you have a roof over your head right now and you have somewhere to sleep and you have a job, or at least you have some type of income coming in, somebody in the family, it's probably not as bad as you think it is. Because if you were to go hang out and watch this guy stream for about 3 hours, you'd realize that your life isn't bad unless you're worse off than he is. You're on the street and probably don't have even a phone that works or some shit. So just remember, guys, it's just a little side story, really nothing to do with the hobby at all. But you know me, I'm always trying to tell you guys, try to look at things on the bright side, try to push through. So if you think it's rough, you probably don't have it that rough. We're all sitting here with baseball cards, basketball cards, hockey cards, memorabilia. We got a bed to sleep in, a roof over our heads. We obviously got internet connection or phone connection because we're all here right now. We're chatting amongst each other. We're streaming. So just take it for what it is. Anything else you guys want to add tonight?
I do have a cool story. I just thought of it. It's more of I seen the Ted Williams card's awesome. So I got in a 54 Bowman break at the card shop a couple weeks ago. And I'm on my Mickey Mantle tear, and I happened to.
Nice. Dude.
$60 buy-in. And I ended up getting the Yogi Berra. And what was it? Oh, Bob Feller.
Nice.
And this was one of them. It was, this one's gone up big time. It was, I think it was listed at $8 to $1,200. And the last one I saw at auction, and it was, I think it was a PSA 4, maybe a 3, was sitting at like $3,000.
Yeah.
So that was perfect timing.
They've definitely been undervalued. And I'm sure you've gotten
cool.
into gotten into breaks before and hit nothing, because that's you got to play the game. If you don't play the game, and Deafness has said it many times, you can't expect to get in a break and get something 2 or 3 times and then just get discouraged and leave. If you can't, scared money don't make money, he says. And if you can't afford to get in the break, don't get in the break. But you got to play the long game. Eventually Deafness hits a good card. Quados hits a good card. I hit that Tatis 1-of-1 auto, but we've played many times too where we've hit nothing. So right, a lot more times where we've hit nothing than when we've hit something. So,
I mean, you guys, and it's like you guys see me playing cards more and more often now, like online and stuff. And as you sit there and watch how people play and how they hit cards and don't hit cards, and maybe people just play that way, but you can tell when people are probably playing with money they shouldn't be playing with because they're extra timid or they don't hit where they're supposed to hit. They get scared off and they just don't get themselves in a better position. They think they're giving themselves a better position, but they're actually making it worse for themselves. So yeah, don't exactly. Thom says, do not buy into a shit ton of breaks if you can't afford to do it, or don't go out and buy a bunch of product if you can't afford to buy it either. There'll be another day for that. Your time will come. When the money's there, you can dabble in, maybe buy more.
So Quados, did I hear you right saying you're selling that mantle for $1,400? Is that what you said?
I've had so many people,
right out.
so many people messaging me about them.
Yeah.
No, I'm doing my thing, getting rid of my commons and getting mantles.
Yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move.
Well, and people like the stuff. I mean, I got so much. I started out with, over 500,000 cards, and I bet you I'm down to probably 100,000.
That's something I got to do, I think, sometime.
And I've just I'm not going to say I've been giving them away, but I've been giving some pretty good deals. I mean, I'll sell a set of commons. I'll leave some stars in there. I keep the Hall of Famers, obviously, and I'll tell that, but I mean, I'm letting them go for 10 cents a piece, 5 cents a piece. The more the merrier, the better the deal.
Right.
And I just saw Ed got one of my, and it was a good point. There's a ton in our day. I'm 47. So in my day, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays, Willie McCovey, those guys were just ending their careers. And then you had Nolan Ryan and Mike Schmidt and George Brett just starting their careers, and then their careers were ending. And then you had guys like Mattingly and Boggs and Puckett, and so we were in the crosshairs of like 3 generations of Hall of Famers, and that's all the stuff that I have. So passing a lot of that along, in the 500,000 cart, whatever I had, too many. I had a ton of them, and I just started making up these little lots of 80s Hall of Famers, 90s Hall of Famers, whatever, 70s Hall of Famers, etc., and getting them out. And that's a great way to, I'll admit, I do probably get rid of them a little too cheap, but it is what it is. I'm okay with it, and I'm getting what I like, and I'm helping somebody else get something that they didn't have.
But also, that's why you're getting rid of them. Another one of Deafness's things that he talks about is, do you want to sell it or don't you want to sell it? You undercut. Right. You price it to sell. You don't price it to say, look at my card that I'm selling for a price I'm not going to get. You price it so it moves because you want it gone.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Don't waste time. Don't waste time. Time is money. Like, the more you have to repost, the more you have to mess around and try to cut price down or do whatever. Just find a price you're comfortable with, even just a little bit under what comps are or whatever, and just run with it. Another question here for you guys from Mark M. Is older players' autograph memorabilia going up too, or just cards? What do you guys? I mean, I'm not as big of a mem guy personally. I mean, I do have some stuff behind me, but I'm not like huge into it. Like,
that would be a Rip and Gypsy question. I think she's big into that memorabilia stuff. I've never gotten into the autographs and the memorabilia a lot either. So that's actually a good question. I'm not sure.
I haven't checked it. I've got several baseballs and Hall of Fame postcards autographed, but I haven't checked any of that stuff.
Right.
I'll give you one more old story, and then I'm going to sign off.
All right.
My brother, who is 3.5 years older than me, when he was in high school, he was out cutting grass. He's cut grass to make money, and he come across a lady who knew that he liked baseball when he was cutting her grass, and she brought him in the house and showed him something, and it was a autographed baseball from all of the 1932 Yankees and Tigers. had Babe Ruth on it, Bill Dickey, Charlie Gehringer. He saved up all the money he could save, and he bought that baseball from her for $250 when he was in high school in 1980. No, actually, it was 1970. He graduated in 1980, so it was 1977 or 1978. Her husband used to be the bat boy for the Tigers in 1932, and he had passed away, and that's why she had the baseball. Talking about memorabilia. Right. So he bought that from her, and he still has that ball to this day.
Wow.
And it's worth big money.
And he asked me if I could look into seeing how much it was worth, and I told him, I said, you'd have to get it, send it into PSA, DNA, and have it all certified. But, he's got documentation from her that her husband was the bat boy, and, it was a legit story. And he did have somebody look at it at a card show who verified it, in person. But he thought that maybe one day he'd want to move that baseball. But when you're talking about I'm not big into memorabilia, and neither is he. Right. But the one piece of memorabilia that our family did have was my brother has that ball. So.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
And once again, like Quados, I have no idea what that market has done. I would probably be shocked if I went and looked like I am with everything else.
Right. Probably like the Mickey Mantle signed jersey, game worn signed jersey, and bats you probably have back there somewhere with the cards, right?
No.
I've actually looked. I actually passed on a deal with a Mickey Mantle autographed baseball.
Did you?
Yeah, but
was it authenticated or no?
Yep, it was. But it's it's an old timer that I deal with, and he's got like 7 of them.
Wow.
But he hasn't been at the card shows because they do the lottery picking for the card shows because of the lesser vendors because of COVID.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him there since before everything shut down. But he's got a bunch of them. He's got all the paperwork, all the stuff. That's mainly what he does. But I don't know. It's the only thing about the Mantle autographs that scares me is that group in the 90s there where they were forging everything, and they had it so perfect.
Right.
And nobody would have known unless they told. I mean, it's a great story. If you haven't seen that show on it, it's unbelievable. Right. This guy was an artist, and he perfected these autographs, and Mickey Mantle was the biggest one. And you couldn't tell. He actually laughed because he was so proud of himself. He said, I'm such a great artist that a lot of the stuff I forged is all certified as real. Oh. And the only reason he got caught is because he told the truth.
Told the story. Yeah.
That's the only reason. So that stuff, I don't want to take a chance on it. And you don't know if it's real or not. So I mean, maybe it is certified. Everybody thinks it is, but.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose bat. Yeah.
Picked it up today from my guy. Moldy Duck Butter. Yeah. That was the one we auctioned.
Deafness, thanks for letting me join, Quados. It's been great being on with you.
Hey, hang on.
You too.
Hang on before you leave. Let me put your link in the thing before you're
what's up?
I posted your guys' links in earlier when we started, but let me just before you sign off, let me guys, if you guys aren't already sub to Thom T, I'm gonna drop his link in here. His YouTube channel. I'll get Quados in here as well. All right. Yeah. I mean, you're free to go now. I just wanted to post your link in chat before you.
Okay. Yeah, no problem. Quados, it's been great chatting with you. We've kind of seen each other in different streams and talked about vintage, but it was fun talking with you for sure. We'll talk again sometime.
You too.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
It. Appreciate you for coming on, guy. Appreciate you.
Thanks for having me. See ya.
All right. Let me get yours in here too, and it's just down to 2 now. But let me.
Bash Bros has got a Willie Mays signed ball. That's awesome.
Yeah, Bash, youngster, good youngster. Part of the. Hang on here. Hang on. I'm just trying to do this quick. Getting you in here. That's Quados. Should be Quados' link there. It's working properly. Smash just made it home. 64 Rose card is sweet. Yeah, I actually like quite a few of the Pete Rose cards. Like just the photos of him, like on his old cards, the vintage. He's got a lot of nice. Pete Rose has got a lot of nice looking cards. When I was at the ballpark Friday afternoon, he had what year was that? Was it 69? 68? He had one that was super. I mean, it was clean. Like corners looked clean, back was clean. I mean, the thing would grade good. I think he was asking like 71 for it or something, but it was a
Whew.
clean card, clean, like sharp, like no rounded corners, nothing. Like he pulled it out of the. Because somebody had asked about it. Someone was asking what the price was during the stream. So, hi, Miss
Straight
Judy.
out of the pack.
How are you doing? Hope you're having a good night. Appreciate you popping in here. We are kind of getting to the tail end of the show. We've been on for about an hour 30, but I think we went through a lot of good stuff. I think you got anything else, Quados, you want to add tonight or anything you want to touch on when it's just down to us?
Oh, we could talk cards all night.
Oh, I know we could, but we probably want to save some stuff for another night. People are like, hey, I got to get going. Hey, I got to do this. Hey, I got to do that. But
yeah, I would just say if you're with the market being crazy, like I said before, those mid-80s rookies are still good rookies.
Right.
The George Brett and the Robin Yount from 75 have gone bonkers, absolutely crazy prices. But that I'll tell you right now what I'm looking for is those puckets.
Yeah.
I'm gonna snap them up all day long if I find them. They're not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
He's not gonna sign anymore because he's gone. He's
not gonna get hurt.
He's in the Hall of Fame, and that's the bottom line.
Yep.
And go for the lesser grade. You don't need to find a 9. You don't need to find a 10, because in all honesty, if you look, I've got cards that are graded a 1.5 or a 2, and you're looking at them like, how can that be?
Right.
And you can't tell the difference basically with the naked eye between a 8 and a 5, really, unless you see a corner ding or something. You can't hardly tell the difference. I mean, you're getting into microscope stuff, and
right,
it's not going to happen. The card looks great. Buy the card, not the grade.
Exactly.
And the lesser the grade, the cheaper the price.
Yep.
And you're going to have a great looking card.
That is true. That is correct. Yep. Yes, sir. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of just all over the place now. Kind of like I don't really know where
Did
to
you get your DFS in?
Yes, I did. Yeah, you made me actually think about that too, because I thought I didn't do it before. I thought it locked at 6 our time, or no, it was a 5 our time, 6 Eastern, because they usually, like FanDuel and stuff, always shows Eastern time, even though I'm Central, because that's what they go off of. And I thought I missed it. Like it was like 5:45 or 4:45 or something. I'm like, did I just miss lock? No, I got another hour 15. So I got everything in there. So we're good there. We are good there. Next show is what? The second weekend of local show is the second weekend, right? March?
Yep.
First weekend.
I think it's always the second weekend.
So we'll have another card show coming up here soon in a couple of weeks. We'll probably this time me and Quados will try to find a good challenge. We didn't really make it happen last time. It was so damn cold. I had stuff that I brought for him that he bought for me and blah, blah, blah. And he had to run back to the truck. We just never really we were going to talk about it beforehand, but when he went to his truck, I went into the card show, kind of took a lap until he got back in, and we just kind of let it roll. So we'll definitely try to get a challenge going this show, see what we can come up with, see what we can, maybe you guys can. I know you guys had some good ideas last time. I honestly don't remember what those ideas were, but maybe we can.
I'm curious to see what the prices are this time. Because things have gotten so crazy in the last month. I'm curious to see.
It is definitely going to be interesting.
I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of us know what Quados is looking for now too. And like I said, like he said, Quados said it's probably not the time to get into it now on the vintage side of things because how much it's already risen. But then again, we really don't know where things are going to go. Is it? I mean, it could possibly continue to rise. I mean, we don't know. We don't know
Here's the
anymore.
way I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it based off of the basketball stuff and how hot that was while the season was starting.
Right.
And the Lucas and everything taking off, just crazy.
Yep.
I think the baseball's just starting. And like I said, this last few days,
sure, yeah. Yep.
with the stuff that I bought, and it's doubled and tripled in price, and I haven't even received it yet.
Yep.
I think it's just starting. I think it's going to go, especially with baseball just starting now. I think it's going to go for a little while longer. I think it's going to go higher and higher and higher, which might make you want to flip. If you're into flipping and trying to make money or whatever,
right
now might be the time to jump back over to basketball or jump to soccer or whatever. I don't think baseball is the one to jump into.
Right. Yeah. So
that kind of stinks because I'm a collector. I'm not a flipper. So that sucks for me.
Exactly. So Smash just got back from West Virginia. I talked to him actually before I went on the show. He met up with Joby One Kenobi, who's a fellow member in the hobby that's always in the chats. He met up with another smaller breaker. I think his name is Redbeard. I've never actually been in any of his streams, seen any of his breaks, done anything with him, but Smash said it was good. Seemed like dude seemed pretty cool. So 357 says, at Deafness, off topic, any good sites for online blackjack besides Bovada? So DraftKings does have a casino if you can play casino games in your state. I cannot. We don't have sportsbook here, so I can't bet on games in Minnesota. I also can't play in the casino games. It's weird. I can play DFS on DraftKings or FanDuel, but I cannot play casino on their casino site. Another great website is Roobet. It's actually if you can play again in your state. I can't play Roobet. My bank won't let me deposit any money. It'll just decline it every time. But Bovada's the only one that I can actually play blackjack on that I've been able to find. That's a decent site. Roobet is a decent site. Roobet is where a lot of the other bigger creators, online people, gamblers play on. I know guys from the Nelk Boys, like Steve will do it. Bradley Martin's buddy, Steve will do it. He bets a lot on Roobet. I know there's another dude. He bets like crazy. Steve, you know who Steve will do it is?
No, I was reading Ed's comment.
Oh, do you know who Steve will do it is? Bradley Martin, the weightlifter.
Oh, yeah.
You know his buddy.
I don't know who Steve-O is. I know Bradley Martin is.
He's in a lot of his videos, and he has Bradley in a lot of his. The dude Steve will do it. Does these crazy challenges, like food eating and shit. He drank 24 egg whites one time. Bradley Martin was there with him while he was doing it. Big jug. Yeah, he drank it all. He'll drink 24 beers in under 10 minutes. He puts the straws in every one of them, and he was actually at Bradley Martin's house doing this challenge. This video, look up Steve will do it. It's all together when we get off here, and you'll love it because his newest videos have Bradley in it. He goes to Bradley's house, and he's like, Brad, I want to use your house to do a new content video. And he did the 20 beers or 24 beers or whatever in 10 minutes. And he's sitting there and he's like, you better not throw up in my house. And Steve will do it. He's after 6 beers, he's burping real loud. And he's burp. And then all of a sudden he's spewing and just Bradley's getting pissed off. He's like, I'm telling you. Steve's like, this will be the last time I'll do it. But he just messes with them because he made these shirts and stuff that said I bought drugs from Bradley Martin. He uses him and puts it on merch and it sells like crazy. And he calls him Osama bin Bradley. And it looks like Osama bin Laden with Bradley Martin's face on it. And he always says that he smokes. Bradley's a health freak. So when he walks in that video, he's got 2 cartons of cigarettes. He's like, hey, I brought you some gifts over too. He gives him a big bottle of wine. He's like, oh, this is cool. He's like, yeah, and here's 2 cartons of smokes too because we know you smoke. And he's like, dude, stop that. I don't do that. I don't. And he's like, oh yeah, you do. You what? You're mad because I didn't bring you just a pack? I brought you 2 cartons this time. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Cut him off, Quados. Who's he talking about? Oh, gambling
The
again.
gambling talk.
Somebody asked me. That's why I brought it up. I wouldn't even say anything. 357 asked what site. All right, here's more talk. Paul Olson's also chatting about gambling. I was checking out Bovada for online poker a while back. All right, cut him off.
That's tomorrow night's stream.
Yeah, tomorrow night's poker, guys. But RSR, I do want to add this too. RSR is going to be doing his auction. He will be back tomorrow night. So we're going to start a little bit later tomorrow because we're not going to be streaming the same time and doing the whatever while he is. So it's probably we're going to cut the first tournament. It'll go quicker though because we'll play all of them like we did the last one, which was Hyper. I think we had 15 people or 14 people, and I think it went like 40 minutes. So we should be able to get 3 or 4 tournaments within a couple hours. So if we start at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, whatever the time is when RSR is about wrapping it up, we can get through 3 or 4 tournaments. So, guys, that's just another thing. Poker will start a little bit later tomorrow night. Smash may have already changed the one that he had set up to start tomorrow night. He might have pushed it back or canceled it, so just get re-registered. But yes, we'll be playing tomorrow night. Alan Davis, have a good night, everyone. I appreciate you for stopping in. Thank you. No, Ed, you're fine. Did someone say poker? Slob says, yep. Tomorrow night, not tonight. Not tonight. You guys are all getting the gambling going now. It's not just me. I think I started a bad thing here.
Yeah, we need balls in here to post that help hotline number.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I will say I'm gonna plug my Twitter rummage sale.
Go ahead, man.
For the vintage stuff, I'm getting rid of Commons. It's old. I just listed a bunch of tobacco cards.
Do it.
I've got some 1947 to 66 exhibit cards, black and white, that are going to be coming up here pretty soon. I might do it tonight still, but I've been listing a lot of stuff that, and I'm not. I usually look at the eBay prices and then I go a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the fees and stuff like that, so you can get some good deals. I listed one yesterday. I actually got when we get off here, I got a message on me. Messaged me. I listed a tobacco card last night. The recent sold was $357, and I listed it for $200. So,
wow,
that's a good deal.
right. Yeah. All right, you guys.
It is a lot of money, but it's still a good deal.
Do you have an Instagram, Quados?
No Facebook, no Instagram.
Twitter. I updated while he was talking when Tom left. I updated the description down below. You guys, there should be their links. Besides, I posted the YouTubes for both of them a couple different times during the stream. Their links are in the description below. So you can follow their Twitters, and their YouTubes are going to be underneath there, both Quados and Thom T. So make sure you guys.
Oh, Olson, you got to come down to the card show next month.
Yeah, he's local. I know.
He's up in Elk River. Yeah, he's about 10 minutes north of me.
Yeah, definitely come meet up with us. Be a good time. Never had Twitter. I don't think. I'll have to check. Well, you should get a Twitter, and you can kind of control who you follow, and you can mute people if there's somebody you want to mute, or you don't like what you're seeing in the timelines. You can simply put them on a mute. So it's pretty simple to control, but it's good to have for just the hobby people in general, if that's all you want to use it for. I mean, hell, how many times how many times have you even done deals or maybe got some stuff or sold some stuff, even just with Twitter?
Oh, all the time. That's mainly what I use.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a good thing to use. Like, I would say it's better than any Facebook or Instagram, or, I haven't been on Facebook myself for, I think there's still accounts you could probably find of me from 8 years ago, but I haven't been on there for forever. I call it fake book. And then, Instagram I'm on, but I don't do much with it. It's always Twitter. I mean, Twitter is, I think, the best when it comes to the hobby.
MSC asked if I sold that T206 hit. No, I didn't. I'm keeping that. He's a Hall of Famer, Johnny Evers.
Yeah.
And you'll never, well, I'll never have a tobacco card that nice. That's an 8.
Right.
So that one's staying with me.
All right. See if we got anything else in here. Managed Club. They asked about the date. Paul asked about the date of the show. It should be March 2nd weekend, so it'd be March 13th, more than likely.
Yep. One day.
Yep,
just Saturday.
Yep, just Saturday only. They don't do it Sundays. They used to do it Saturday and Sundays, but yeah, they don't do it on Sunday anymore. It's Saturday only. So
MSC, yeah, I was out of Gems of the Game. And I've actually seen 2 other ones. I've seen 3 now. And one of the guys pulled a Cy Young. Wow. Crazy.
Wow.
I saw that posted on Twitter last week.
Jesus. Yeah, Paul, just create a Twitter, man. Like you can find people that could screw you over on Twitter. You can find that anywhere you go. Like anywhere you go in life, you can find people that could screw you over, that could scam you. But I don't know. I've been on Twitter for a long time, and I always find that that's personally to me the best social media platform there is. So personally,
Heads, I believe I know I have one, but I think it might have sold. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. I do still have some left. But I got to talk to that guy here after we get done here. I got to message him back because he was thinking he was going to make me an offer on what I had left.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we're about good. We're approaching 2 hours.
Yeah.
About 8 o'clock. I think we had a good show, guys. How many polar bear backs do you have, Quados? Pez asked.
I think it was just the one, but I don't know if I sold it or not. I got to check.
Or other rare backs?
No, most of them are Piedmonts. A couple of, yeah, I think they're all Piedmonts. I might have one of the, slipping my brain now. Sovereignty.
All right, looks like people are kind of shutting down, closing out. So I guess we're gonna take this time. You want to say your last goodbye?
Tomorrow night. Go look for the deals. Best deals are in the 80s, mid 80s right now. If you want Hall of Fame rookie cards, stay away from the old stuff. You're going to be paying way too much.
Yeah. Right now. You should have jumped on it about 6 months ago, 12 months ago, when it was dirt cheap. All right, guys. I appreciate everybody for joining us tonight. Thom T as well, Quados. It's always a pleasure chatting with you guys. We will be back again Sunday. Again, if anybody wants to be on here with any of us, let us know in advance. Send me a DM, send me a Twitter, whatever, an email. My email is the same as the name at gmail.com. It's pretty simple. Again, Thom T and Quados info is in the description below. Make sure you guys go give them a follow. Make sure you subscribe to their channels. Check out what they're doing as well. Stay in communication with them. They're great members of the hobby. They're great members of the community. And we will be hanging out with RSR tomorrow night as he goes back for his first auction in about, I don't know, a month, probably a month and a half. And then a little bit after, when he's getting ready to close it up, we will enjoy a little bit of poker. I'll be streaming it again. You guys can be playing if you want. I got something to hide my cards this time, so nobody can be watching and seeing what I got in my hands, but it was all good. I didn't really care. It's all for the fun of it. It's just more for the fun. I like watching other people and seeing other people. I love seeing big moves and people getting crazy, just getting crazy luck on the last card. But it's all I got, guys. We appreciate you. We love you. Keep it moving. Keep it positive. And until next time, we'll see you soon. Peace. And broadcast.